What it is, Vader Games in the building, Vader Games TV, CIA, Citeh, Intelligent Agendas. You know what it is. You know what it is. First things first, my peoples come first. My peoples, those that are here, those that are no longer here, always thought of and remembered. All right, the link's out. I got my city people all over the place. It's one of those days. Whether the response is going to be high, we'll have to wait and see. We got another loss to deal with. If you happen to be joining me on YouTube, thanks so very much. Hit that like button. Let me see you in the comments. Be a part of the show. Obviously, I'm going to give you what I have to say with regards to the game. I'm going to have other agents involved so that we can speak on it. This is going to be a calm, intelligent, like it says, Citeh, intelligent agendas. We're going to be intelligent with how we speak on this. It's not going to be the wild, overly emotional type convo. And I see an agent backstage. I'm going to bring him into the mix shortly. Let me also, like I do every show, whether it's CIA, whether it's Citizens Neighborhood Watch, whether it's Why Always Me, whether it's 115. I gotta address who's in the comments first. Those showing love, those taking that person that took the time to be like, "Yo, Vader, I messed with you, man. Let me support the channel. Let me be in the mix. Let me be part of the combo." And today, the very first comment, shout out to my man Will, Football Carnage. He goes, "Be calm, Vader. I still think you guys win it." Yo, I appreciate that because I've shared the calmness over when I've been at his channel, right? And I remember he had a little bit of a meltdown. Was kind of stressing out to kind of work this up. I know it didn't quite do it recently, but we've been there to support each other. Also because there's a different level of violence over at the American Waffle sometimes, and I gotta defend my man Will. So I appreciate him being first into the comments today. Caroline Blue goes, "These dudes don't let you talk." Shake my head. Absolutely, Caroline. They just want to dunk on City because they haven't been able to for 4 years. Caroline, that's what it is. And again, it's a great exercise of patience when I'm on the football terrace because again, Terry's got his show, right? KG's got the invites to those he wants on. He wants to give everybody a chance to speak. If I only get a few words, I'm gonna make sure my few words count. If I get a chance to expand and speak longer, I will. And if I don't, you know what? The beauty is you get to hopefully enjoy what I have to say over here on my channel, Vader Games TV. And when I say my channel, I actually mean all of our channels because you guys are a part of it. Let me also shout out my man, Football Carnage. He goes, "Rodri, really the glue." Will, Football Carnage, you know the importance of a Ballon d'Or player? You know the impact of what that player has on a team, on a club? I'm talking on and off the pitch. Listen, I'm not, and again, I'm gonna say this. I don't make excuses with regards to we got an injury, that's why we lost. We have an injury, it's next man up, right? Whatever the sport is, next person up, you deliver on it. But when you look at how poor we've looked, take the results away. When you look at how poor we looked, when you have a player like that missing, what do you expect? And again, the funny thing is, when I was over on the football terrace, and they want to call out being a hypocrite. When you point out one player being injured and a fan base trying to complain that that's why they didn't win the league, yeah, we're going to be on them. We're going to be like, what are you guys talking about? 8, 7, 10 games, one player missing. You're now claiming that's why you lost the league. That's when City fans are piping up. But when it comes down to a player being out, several players being out, and falling short from a performance standpoint, that's what we are breaking down. None of us are going to, at the end of the season, say we lost this because of Rodri. No City fan's going to do that. Absolutely ridiculous. I see a crying emoji. My God, you know what it is. Now, let me first address this. I'm over on Twitter X. I'm also here on YouTube. If you happen to be watching on Twitter X, take a second. All right. We all got multiple devices these days. We got the phone, we got the we got the laptop, we got the tablet. Some of you got the desktop, whatever it is. If you happen to be watching on Twitter X and you're on a computer, open up another tab, go to YouTube, Vader Games TV. All right, real simple, Vader Games TV. You'll see live, click on it, like, drop a comment. Let's interact with regards to the comments. That's the best way to do it. All right. And again, an amazing milestone. I want to thank each and every one of you. We're now at 700 subs. All right. I don't do this every day. All right. This is my daily. All right. This is my hobby. This is how I kind of diary my football journey. But if it were my day to day, if it were my source of income, if it was my livelihood, yeah, I'd be doing this a lot more. I'd be saying, get me to 1,000, get me to 2, 3, 4, 5. But every little bit counts. Thank you so much for getting me to 700. It's actually at 704. Let's continue to move it on and get it to even higher. I'm gonna bring the first agent to the mix. But before I do so, let me first say, calmness. Calmness. We're going to deal with the game. We're going to deal with the fact that we as a club were wounded. Players missing, players injured, players coming back. We're wounded. Worst losing streak under Pep. We're going to deal with that. Obviously not worst losing streak from a club because we've had difficult times, but worst losing streak under Pep. And we got to talk what we like, what we dislike in the attack, what we like, what we dislike in the midfield, and definitely what we like and dislike from a defense standpoint. We're gonna provide those intelligent solutions. All right, let's go. You know what it is. Appreciate that. Now, first agent to the mix. You know, I got to do a proper intro for him. You know what I mean? On this show, we're always trying to raise the quality of things. That's the first agent I'm gonna bring to the mix. The link's been sent out. I know that some of them are actually. This is what's the funny thing is. I'm about to put on the Liverpool game on the background. I'm gonna have it there, sound off, just to kind of glance at it. And I know that there's a large portion of City fans that, because of the loss that we just suffered, are going to be watching the Liverpool game, being like, "Let's see if there's a drop result." We don't need to do that. Liverpool, they can do what they got to do. This is deal with what we just had, international break, and come and deal with that at another time. I'm gonna bring both agents to the mix. Let me introduce them one at a time. You saw the first one, but I'm gonna bring both agents forward, and the next agent I got in the mix. Let me do that a second time just so you know who's about. Charge up to my agents, my CIA peeps, and Adam and my man Conway. Good looking out, fellas.
Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing, Adam? How's going on, Veo? You guys good?
We're doing okay. You know what it is? Oh, I gotta fix this background because I got doubled up. But let me go to these comments real quick, and I'm gonna throw this to you, Conway. Blue Heart goes, "Hi, all. Hope everyone is good and not too down about the fourth loss. Hey, we'll deal with it. We'll see where people are at. 100%. Beyond Belief goes, defense let us down today. It's true, and we're going to talk specifics, not just in the defense, but we're going to talk specifics because I think a lot of what we're doing wrong can actually be fixed. There's a solution there. And let me actually start these two comments. Blue Heart goes, I thought we were looking good in the first half, but the second half bug from midweek bit us again. Yeah, there's credit to how Brighton chose to attack us and how they were going after us and what they were doing within the midfield, as well as what I'm going to talk about, doubling up on our defensive line with regards to some of the players' runs. And then there's also the fact that when we brought on KDB, I think that's actually when we surrendered a goal. So there's a few things to kind of deal with. Dre P goes, furthermore, this is the Prem, high level. The league can't be the toughest in the world and then suddenly poor whenever City win in the end. Yeah, and also the league can't be the best in the world and us then suffer losses, and we're not supposed to suffer losses. It's the best for a reason. None of these wins are guaranteed. Now, the fact that we've lost 4 on the bounce, again, agenda-wise, let me try to clean this up. But agenda-wise, it is 4 on the bounce. But it's not 4 losses in the league. So let's kind of all have that in context as well, all right? Caroline in the building, she goes 100. Beyond Belief says, Blue Heart, same, mate. I was surprised by a good performance in the first half, but the defense crumbled. Second half is just not good enough. We'll get into it. Conway, I want to ask you this. Right from the beginning, seeing the 11, seeing the players on the bench, what were you optimistic about, and what were you concerned about when you saw the 11?
Yeah, when I saw the 11, I was actually shocked because I wasn't expecting us to fill that sort of back line. I thought Kyle Walker was actually going to be playing centre back because we did that 2 seasons ago when we won the treble. We played Southampton, then up the side of the Carabao, stopped us from doing a quad. Kyle Walker was a centre back in that game. And I thought Pep could be doing that again today against Brighton, but thankfully he didn't. Kyle Walker was a right-sided centre-back. We had Simpson as the central centre-back and Gavardi was the left-sided centre-back. Obviously, Rico and Burton from the left-hand side. When the game kicked off, I thought, yeah, I understand why Pep did this. Obviously, seeing Akanji and Ake not play is not surprising to me, considering he didn't want to risk neither of those 2 players because they're not fully fit at the moment. You could even witness from Akanji without he was playing against Sporting. That's not a fully fit player there, man. He didn't even try and help Simpson, who made his debut for his first team. In terms of running, just defending, Akanji looked all over the place against Sporting, and he wasn't fit. That's why he never started today. But I thought in the first half we made a really good. We were really good. I thought Simpson was brilliant playing out from the back.
I really like. Listen, I know we're in a tough spell right now, but Conway, player wise, I really like him.
Yeah, he is. He's very quality. He's very quality.
I really like him. Yeah, I think obviously a young player. When you're young, you don't quite have that man body yet. He's got to put on a little bit of mass and play a little stronger. That's actually a big criticism I have for Rico. I think Rico falls to ground a little too early. Rico kind of, I know he gets pushed, and again, it's to win a foul, but as a defender, you got to stay on your feet. It's got to be blatant on why you're going to ground, and I think he just needs to toughen up like that. I'm gonna bring the next agent to the mix as well. It's gonna be a heated week. I already know. So we're gonna be on the battle lines, Conway. I know this agent that I'm gonna bring to the mix. He's gonna be on the battle lines, and we're gonna be dealing with these rivals all weekend long. But let me introducing the next agent to the mix. And I know he's probably battling heavy in the spaces right now, so he's going to do double duty. But let me introduce him. We got Agent Professor in the mix. How you doing, Professor? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Veto, I'm doing, oh my God. I normally say I'm doing well. I'm not doing well. Absolutely not doing well completely. It's depressing, man. I can't wait to chat to you guys. I want to hear your opinion. This will be a great time at least. I was planning to travel somewhere. I canceled. I said, nah, I'm not going like this, man. No chance.
Yeah.
So today, big game, man. We have to talk about this issue.
Absolutely. Similar to you, I had tentative family plans. Luckily, wifey's running a little late, so I'm actually calm with things. But I was just asking Conway about the 11 when you first saw it. What were you optimistic about? What were your concerns when you saw the 11? I don't know if you heard portion of the show what he was talking about, but I think the youngsters are good to be gaining that experience. I think my concerns with them is just from a strength standpoint, commanding their space, not getting bullied or pushed off the ball. I see it happening a little too much with Rico, but all in all, I thought that the 11 could have gotten the job done. What about yourself?
I just think, like, I saw that lineup. My cousin looked at it. All looks positive. I remember he said the same thing in the Champions League final before Chelsea. He looked at that lineup and I remember he used the same words. He said, I don't like this against Champions League final. So today he saw it because did you see the back line?
Yeah.
He said that back line shocking. There's no way you're winning that game. I said, nah. We've got Man City. I'm not used to losing. No way we're losing 4 in a row. We're winning this. And he said, no, you can't. You can't win you can't win it with that back line. No way. I promise you, he kept saying. I was going to the kitchen. I was making tea. I was walking my cup. And he'll follow me. Listen, I'm telling you something. We're not winning. I'm telling you now, we're not winning that game. We're not winning. What's Pep that? We're not winning. That backline can't. We just, have you seen Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker, and the young boy Simpson? You can't do that. He's a young boy. We've set him up. This is a big game. Too much pressure. You know. And I said, nah, you don't know probably because our players are halfly injured. It's a risk. And I was more angry of what my prediction was. I said, I told you we needed a centre back. We shouldn't be in this position. And my anger was towards Stones than Ake mainly because, and which is unfair, they have a right to get injured. They've done all. And I was like, I said, these guys they're always injured. Walker was a year older. I said to people in summer, we need a centre back because a centre back can always play right back. It's better you sign a centre back but a right back can't play centre back. It's so hard.
The thing is, Professor and Conway, I don't know if you guys agree with this. Let me actually put the headphones. It might be a little easier. The thing that I find really difficult with what's happening so far this season is it's because of the players not being healthy why we look at how we should have better replenished. But when we look at the number of people we have defensively, we shouldn't be needing anybody. We shouldn't be needing a signing. But with how we've had these injuries, we're like, whoa, we're light. We're light with regards to experience. And I hear you, Conway. I don't know if you disagree, but Stones and Ake, international breaks do not go well with these guys. I actually, again, I got no horse in the race because as a Canadian, I could care less what they do for England, or for their countries, obviously with Ake. But when they come back, there's a spell of they're only available or they're not available right away. They got to amend themselves. I think that, and I was losing my mind, Conway. I was losing my mind when I was also keeping up with what Pep was talking about with regards to Jack Grealish and him choosing to go with the call up to international duty. This is why this is why many fans are stressed out. This is why we're like, what the heck's going on, guys? If you're not right to play for the club, how are you right to go and play international? Because it's going to hinder you to come back and play for the club. So it's wild. And we've had many conversations, Conway. If there is a I told you so, or we should have done, where does that happen with regards to our squad and players that should have come in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we saw glimpses of how we were not good in terms of the midfield being ran for. Even when Rodri was there, people think this was a situation where the midfield was brilliant just because Rodri was there last season. Yes, Rodri does solve a lot of issues in midfield, but there was a lot of times where we were getting just ran through our midfield, balls going to the defence, and we weren't actually brilliant in that perspective. But we managed to win the league based on the individual brilliance of Foden, Alvarez managing to chip in with his GA throughout the season, Rodri being who he is, and the goal output that he gave us last season as well. Just individual brilliance is what won us the league last season. And when you go into the summer transfer window and you have a player of Alvarez's quality who, yes, as a fan base, there was a lot of people that wanted to get onto him because he's playing as a number 10. That's not his position. Yeah. He's a striker, but that's because of Pep. But when you lose 30 GA from a player who can play as a striker when Haaland's not there, can go into the number 10 position and play alongside of Gundo or Foden as the two 10s when KDB's not there. Yeah. When you have a player of Alvarez's quality and you let him go for the money that we got from Atletico Madrid, which I understand is a lot of money, but you don't replace that player, and then you rely on Haaland having to play every single game in the Premier League and in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And him getting just energy like so down, and for us not to get a replacement for Alvarez, to me that was the most shocking thing that we did in the summer.
Conway, let me build off of that point because and I hope everyone listens, and I hope City fans, you take this when you're speaking to other rivals, because over here we're talking intelligent agendas. None of us as a City fan begrudge Alvarez wanting to go, right? When you look and you see Erling Haaland, who just broke the English Premier League goal scoring record, and he was injured for 2 months and still led the league in goal scoring. If you're the backup to him, you're like, oh, my future here isn't great. My future here is depending on players being injured, and Pep's gonna be able to put me into spots to get my minutes and to be effective. And obviously, Alvarez, credit to him as a professional, always made the most of it. But if that was going to be his life over at Manchester City, he's looking beyond that. He's going to be looking to go elsewhere. And I'm cool with the club saying, you know what, we don't want any player turning their heads. If the player is like, the grass is green over there, I want to take my chance. Cool. Okay, bye. Get us the right price, right transfer. You're on your way. But if the player goes, we have to replace. And that's where I'm in agreement with you and with Conway and even past conversations in different group chats, right? If we're letting the player go, we have to replenish them. We have to replace them. And that's where we have fallen short. On top of that, and again, they hear it as excuses because the rivals, they've been waiting. Professor knows this. They've been waiting for 4 years with regards to our four-peat. But to be real, they've been waiting for 7 years. They've been waiting 7 years to crash it on us like this because when we talk about a player not being available, I don't even think we stress like this with Oscar Bob healthy. I don't think we stress like this from an attacking standpoint, worried if Haaland goes down, if Oscar Bob was available. Because we saw it. Oscar Bob played all across the front three. He had that amazing goal coming off from the left wing from KDB versus Newcastle. I'm confident even in the EDS he's able to play centrally, and he's played out on the wing. So we're just pointing out our struggles, our difficulties are due to the injuries, but we're not saying, oh, we're accepting not winning this league because of injuries. We're pointing out why it's a difficulty right now, which rivals do not want to hear. Professor, when you look at how wounded we are, do you think that it's a matter of we have everybody healthy back, we're good to go?
No.
Or do you think we need one or two players to either step up or who haven't, or do we need players that aren't currently on the squad purchased?
Listen, let me make it clear. We need to sign players in January. And I'm going to say the word players. And I've said it from the beginning because it's not like I've panicked. Because I use the same narrative from the beginning. I questioned players. I said, Stones often goes missing in games. Ake gets injured. And Walker's not playing his best performance this season. And especially he's 1 year older. Are you not thinking to get another centre-back? These are questions I was raising. And I said, question number 2. You need a player to play Rodri back up, but also to play with Rodri. Are you trying to crush on Kovacic? No, I'm not trying to crush on Kovacic. How dare you ask me that question? I said, it's because why would you want to risk Rodri and Kovacic to play every single game when you're playing 70 games? You want a player. Players are happy. Kovacic is happy to be rested. Yeah? You need top 3 central top players. We got Gundogan, he's good. But remember, he's 34 years old. So you can't crush on him. He's 35. He had to come back. So we wasted time chasing a player. There was no player. We were told Paqueta's there. We were told Kimmich is linked. It was all a lie. Then it was Bruno Guimaraes. It was all a lie. I knew straight away. City will not pay 100 million for Bruno Guimaraes. No way. No chance. I don't believe that. They know. They regret paying 100 million for Grealish because it was a lot of money. And sometimes you can sign 2-3 midfield, which I said there's a solution. There was a solution. For 2 years, I said, you can't play Rodri. Rodri has come up in several interviews saying, I'm injured. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I need a backup. He went to Spain. His manager said the same thing. He said the same thing in Spain. He then got injured at the FIFA World Cup. We didn't see that as a red flag. We're still going to win the league. And we could have won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Madrid wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But guess what? If we had that extra midfielder, we would have beaten Madrid easy. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I said, he went injured against Spain in the final. That was a red flag.
Yeah.
There was multiple red flags that Rodri
There were a lot of things. Yeah, there were a lot of things adding up to being like, hey guys,
those signs. You're being shown he can go down. Something can no, but Kovacic can play there. But who's gonna play with Kovacic? But when they got Gundogan, they were like, we're happy. No, he's 35-year-old. That doesn't solve the solution. Ask on myself, we were still being bypassed. But the question is, exactly. So the question is, they asked me, is Rodri? I said, Rodri has become an 8 now. He can play a 6 and an 8. I've seen him score goals.
Yeah, he's advancing. Yeah.
He goes forward.
He advances very high as a 6. When we press sometimes, as a 6, sometimes when we're pressing, he's actually high up in the 18-yard box.
Far forward. Yeah. Because he took that Gundogan position that year. He didn't.
So let me point this out. Let me point this out.
Yeah.
Professor, I want to point this out, and Conway, I hope you can chime in as well. When we have Gundogan back, and I said this at the time, I was really happy because we didn't replace him last year on the 4-peat. We let him go. We still won the 4-peat, but we didn't replace him. We didn't have that type of ghost able to get into the 18-yard box, able to take those spots, and we were missing him. That's the role I expected him to have this season, but not play every game, right? I expected him to come back to Manchester City and play in those pockets, but not necessarily play as a sole 6 sometimes or even as a double pivot. I didn't expect him to have to navigate and protect us against attacks or counterattacks in that midfield. Gundogan definitely doesn't have the legs for it. One of the comments, and I probably should have started, but it was mentioned, our midfield's old. We have old legs in the midfield. That's 100% right. And Real Madrid were suffering of this, but they went out and got it. A Tchouaméni, right? They went out and made sure that they had players to actually cover the pitch, cover the blade of grass that their older players couldn't. Without a Rodri, we're even more exposed. We're even more exposed. And when we think of what Pep needs to find, he needs to find the right mix for the players to cover the blades of grass in the midfield. That's where the solution needs to come from, in my opinion. I also think that the fact that we have this losing streak, I'm not gonna try to do the Disney thing and try to spin this, but guys, Conway, what do you think Pep is doing in this international break after his first ever 4-game losing streak? What do you think he's doing right now, solution wise, after this game?
He will announce his extension. So
yeah,
no, but you need to actually look at.
That's the first thing he needs to do.
Hamza. Do you know what the most perfect thing is for us as a fan base? Because there's a lot of uncertainty with regards to Pep's situation. Since contractual, this is his last season based on his current contract. The best thing that he can do in this international break is for him to announce his extension. That's when that will majorly become the turning point for us as a season, and we'll see what we can do moving forward. Because if Pep announces his contract extension, the players come back from their respective countries' international break, first day back at the training ground, you know what we're going to do. Before the Tottenham game, this is how we're going to feel this. We're going to have majority of our players back from injury. That will just be a major boost for the whole squad. So that is what Pep's going to do. He needs to sort out his contract extension this international break. It should not go past this international break. Because usually, even when he signed his previous contract with us, it was announced in November. We have 2 weeks to understand what Pep is going to do, because us as a fan base, we need to understand what he's going to do moving forward. So he needs to let us know whether he's staying or leaving. In my opinion, I think he will announce his extension this international break.
Yeah, he will need. He's under pressure now.
That's
the benefit, Vito. That's the benefit. Because he has seen that he must build, and Pep is a winner. Let me repeat, Pep is a winner. A lot of people are doubting it, and I put how many times did I say, Conway? I say, to me, this losses, the first thing he will do is he needs to announce an extension to say, I'm here, I'm gonna stay, back me, yeah, I'm gonna try now. I'm gonna rebuild this squad with a hungry squad, and I'll get this moving. And you know what's the best thing, Vito? It's open up. Like now, there's a wake-up call. It's 2 weeks for the club to sit down, the club to decide. Pep needs to decide. The club needs to know who's coming back from fitness, who's going to be fully fit, planning for Man City, Tottenham. We don't care. Yeah. And the other thing is planning about whether January Pep will get backed. Because their defense, we can still lose Stones again. We can still lose Akanji. We can still lose Ake again. We can still lose them.
So yeah. So with that, Professor, here's the crazy thing is, and we can't forget the past. When we went back to back, the third year was when we were having the injury plagues. It was like an accumulation of the players going full tilt, having to fight Liverpool, having to win the league. There's something, it adds. There's mental, there's physical, there's emotional fatigue. What's happening now? And I look at these players and I'm worrisome. And with regards to the comments, there's no we're here only because of Rodri. We're not having these difficulties only because Rodri's out. We're here because of a series of a few players that, again, have put in the kilometers, have put their bodies on the line for a while, and it's added up. Pep's trying to find the rotation to make sure everyone's kind of healed, everyone's healing up and ready. But we've got a deal. We've got a deal. And when I asked Conway, what is Pep going to do in this international break? I love the answer because Pep announcing makes a lot of sense. He's under tremendous scrutiny. We know the media. All right. We know the agendas are going to be thrown out there, whether they're going to be traditional agendas or it's going to be those that are on these platforms. We know that they're going to be pushing similar to what they did with Klopp. He's tired. He's out of ideas. He doesn't have the solutions. He doesn't know how to fix a system without Rodri. Rodri FC, right? Or Pep can't perform unless he has the best talent. We know all that's going to be coming out. But Pep hears all of this, and him over this international break is like, all right, here's who I have available. Here's who's going to fight for me, and here's who's going to play. I wasn't too upset with the 11, like I said myself. I was surprised at it, but I thought, you know what? It's quality enough to still win. And again, as we looked at the first half, we had the ability to do it. Why we're falling off? Is it fatigue? Is it credits obviously to Brighton, credit to the manager, credit to the players, because again, we know that they're playing. They want to play their best football. They want to put on the best show. It's Manchester City, right? It's the 4-peat winners, treble winners. They've already marked on their calendar this game. I'm making sure I'm healthy and I'm playing against Manchester City. So we're getting their best shot. It's not going away. We have to be able to play for the full 90 minutes, which we haven't been. We have to be able to take their best shot. A couple games ago, whether it was Bournemouth or whether it was it before Bournemouth? Even before Bournemouth, we're getting everybody's best shot. And Southampton, exactly. Pep said it in the press conference. We didn't match them. We didn't match their intensity. We didn't match their committedness within the game. I want to go to the comments, and I also want to talk about, is there really an issue with our attack? Yeah. I want us to talk about the attack, but let me go to the comments real quick. A16 goes, you can't win the league with a finished defender and young and naive players. So he's talking about a finished defender in Walker, I'm assuming, and he's talking about young defenders in Pusey and I guess Rico. But again, we know that wouldn't necessarily be our back four. Our ideal back four has a Kanji in it. Our ideal back four is a mix between Diaz and Stones, in my opinion.
Exactly. We're going through an injury crisis right now.
Back four is a mix. Listen, the issue is that back line. That back line is right. That Kyle Walker, even when that ball came through, did you see Conway the defensive? But why are fan base, some of them, are so obsessed with this, like not letting go of certain players? You know what I'm trying to say? Kyle Walker, even today when that goal went, you can see he just gave up.
The second goal.
He's done everything good for our club, but that's not captain material. Especially when the young boy just made a little mistake, or Rico Lewis, because they need a little bit of it. You need a leader on that pitch. Yeah. Be honest.
You need to support them. You need to carry them.
Is Kyle Walker one of our worst captains we've had? Conway. Is he better than Fernandinho as a captain? Is he better than Kompany as a captain?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hamza, you're being
don't
harsh,
do that.
Man.
These are legends. These are legends.
Yeah.
Walker.
Hamza, you're being harsh.
Not.
Huh?
You're being harsh, boy. You're being harsh.
No, but is Kyle Walker the best captain we've had, or is it the worst captain we've had?
No, but of course, I'm not going to rank them in terms of captains who's best or worst. I can't. I just
But he's
think
not a leader. Let's be honest. Kyle Walker's not a leader. He's got a lot of going on in his life, I believe, yeah? And that's what I'm going to crush him. And I think he's older and it's harsh. But I just believe poor Kyle Walker, man. He's a legend in my football club. But I think what's going on there, it doesn't look like a Kyle Walker that I used to see. A Kyle Walker, do you remember? Against Arsenal. He was a guy that was confident, was there.
No, he's not at his peak. He's not at the peak of his powers anymore.
He's not playing.
It's simple, really. It's
That's what I'm not saying. He's not playing at the top captain level. And I'm sorry, if we need in this kind of battle real warriors on that pitch.
Sorry, Professor. I want to tackle this because I know obviously uniquely we try to keep this show within an hour. I don't know if that'll be the case because I want to allow you guys to do your thing, whether it's on the Twitter X Spaces and obviously talking to other City fans as well as rivals. But I want to address this because I asked, fixing our attack. What's wrong with our attack? Is there something wrong with the attack? But this comment here goes, nah, no issue with the attack, is the defense. 100%. We know we have issues in the defense. We know the major issue is the midfield, in my opinion. If we were to rank midfield, defense, then attack in terms of priority with regards to what is ailing us. What's the issue? Why are we so wounded? Why are we so vulnerable? But I do want to talk with the attack, and we'll go back the other way. Is there something missing with regards to having Haaland be more effective? And I think he's doing what he needs to do. It's maybe some of the eyes, some of the creativity to get to him. Or with regards to our wing play, Conway, what is something that you would like to see changed or adjusted within our attack?
We need to make sure that Ilkay Gundogan is not moving forward as the pitch as he normally does. Because to me, when you look at a man of his age, we're asking him to do too much from an attacking standpoint when I need him as a 6. But at the moment, Kovacic is playing better as a 6 than him, which is why we have to move Gundo further up the pitch and be a double 10 alongside Foden and whatnot. To me, that's one thing with the attack. Number 2, we haven't had the opportunity to have our wingers fit. You look at the pre-season, every single City fan was talking about how Oscar Bob's been brilliant, yeah? Then we go into the season, and then before the Chelsea game, he breaks his leg, and all of a sudden we're all talking about how could we potentially bring in another player to replace Oscar Bob because he could be out for the season. Thank God he isn't. He'll be back New Year's.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
We were talking about how should we sign someone to replace Oscar Bob, but that didn't happen. Haaland, we're asking too much of Haaland in games. You look at the game against Sporting, where you can tell he's having a bad night, missing a penalty. There was a couple of chances that even Foden himself created for him. Like he's not having it's just not his days. In a game like that, had Haaland had a game like that last season, Pep wouldn't hesitate to bring him off the pitch and sub on Alvarez. Now we don't have that option. So we have to pray that Haaland just one of those chances hits the back of the net because he has to outsee the entire night. He needs to play the entire night because we don't have a player that we can bring off the bench and play as the focal point as our number 9 when Haaland isn't scoring. So there's issues on our team, but I think these issues will be resolved after the international break when the likes of Grealish, Doku, and we have more options in terms of what the wingers can do. Because I thought Grealish had a really good start to the season, man. He was very direct, and obviously, whatever happened. I don't even know what's going on with Grealish, but we need him back. Whatever's going on between him and Pep, they need to resolve this. Because if we don't have him and we don't get Doku, and we don't have an opportunity to change up how our wingers can look, we're in trouble, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you with regards to even the Jack Grealish part. Like, obviously, some of the behind the scenes stuff will come to light a little later. But I think if Jack isn't doing what's expected based off of the manager, and the manager is holding him out, the manager's right to do it, and Jack's going to need to fix up. The fact that he hasn't played for us and he's going to be playing internationally is going to be another combo that we'll deal with on another show. But I think I think attack-wise, I think player that we have available, these guys also need to take their chances more. I don't think there used to be a part where the players were always looking for Holland, and it was like, oh, you passed up an opportunity. You should have shot this, or you should have driven with the ball. You look for Holland, and then it went the other way. It went the other way where they weren't looking for Holland, right? They got in the habit of going individually. So I want them to find the right mix. One thing that I want to see more that I was seeing in this Brighton game, and we've seen this in previous games, Conway, I don't know if you agree, but when Holland makes the run, the player, and that's why I like when Nunez is running with the ball, and in some instances, I like how Kovacic is running with it. For a few games now, I don't think Gundogan can do that anymore. I don't think he can do that. Let me stop. When I say I don't think he can do that anymore, I don't think he can do a full 90. I think we can get that from Gundo, and he can give us like an all-out body on the line 60 minutes. But again, we look at our bench and who's going to really come on. Is Pep going to trust McAtee to kind of do the rest of the role in a tight game like this? Is he going to he's going to move players around? I don't know. But from an attack standpoint, I want more of those passes like we saw from Kovac to Holland done. Release that ball, have Holland muscle or try to get past that defender and see where things end up. And let's do that a lot more before they set up on their 18. Let's do that a lot more when we've just won possession, when we just have the ball. Let's look for that release, which many clubs look to do against us. I'd like to see that more as an attack standpoint. Now, Professor, I want to throw this to you real quick. Is there anything you want to see changed when it comes down to how we're actually playing from a wing standpoint? Because I thought Savinho had a very good game. I think he also, like many, just needs to calm down a little bit when he does get past his man, to get in the habit of already knowing what his decision wants to be. Is he going to look up, find Holland, who's going to be just around that 6-yard box, or is he going to put a shot on? I like what I saw, but is there anything you want to change from what we're seeing on the wings?
Yeah, thing is, we're so predictable. That's how we play. We play the ball from the back line, right? Center, left, center, right. It's just so predictable. So they just sit back and think, okay, we don't mind to play like that. You can have the ball as much as you want, but there's no threat. There's no shooters. Yeah? There's no shooters. No one's working players. Yeah? Tell me how many shots did we have on target today? Did you shot? 0. If you can't shoot towards goal, you ain't getting a goal. Simple. So number one, there's no creativity, but there's no also chances. We had Alvarez who was taking shots, who was getting the box, who was getting 1-2 and getting to the box. None. You lose a 30 GA and you don't get anyone. I think the thing is, a lot of things have to change. Doku when he comes back, Grealish when he comes up, we need to know first about Grealish. It'll be interesting to see whether he plays for England. I doubt he will be so naive to play for England. Conway, if he plays for England, career's done for City, I believe.
I think it'll be interesting to see how this season ends. If Grealish isn't utilised a lot, then I think there's an issue between him and Pep.
If he plays for England after he's been missing for City, what do you think Pep will do?
I think we're probably looking at another example. Not that he's not going to be banished like he did Cancelo, but there's going to be here. I'm making an example. Yeah, I think there's going to be an example made because again, players in a locker room, these players are relying on him. They're relying on each other, and you got to show that you're there. If he's like, I'm not good enough to play for you guys, and I'm going to take that risk and play slightly healthy, 90% or whatever, internationally, it's going to be upset. I want to put this comment on screen.
Quickly, just want to say, when we come back from international break, it's Tottenham at home, Feyenoord at home, they're in a great form, Liverpool away, and Palace, Juventus, United, Villa away. Tough games are coming up. This is when you need all those guys back.
Yeah,
they need to come back quickly because after this, you cannot be afford. we can't afford to go to Anfield and lose. If they win today, and we go to
Professor,
Anfield,
before that, the first game back from international break, must win.
It's a
must. There's not even a draw. It is a must win.
Yes.
And that's the energy we're
Listen,
dealing with.
do you know Villa?
And players, I believe players, I'll call out the players. There's certain players that shouldn't be going. John Stones, you're not playing for England.
He's not going. Stones wasn't called up. Akanji's one. Akanji should not be going. Akanji should not be going.
Every time he goes, he comes back injured. Every time he goes.
And he has to refuse. He has to not go. Ake? He's not going.
Ake's not going. Ake's not going. Vardio's going.
So would you allow him to go, or do you think that's harsh? If he goes?
Yeah. Pep's not going to stop him going. I think him and Kovacic are going to go.
So you would allow Kovacic to go and get injured for Croatia?
Well, if they're going to go, though, Hamza, they're going to go.
No. But there's principles. It's about a club now.
We need to do the Arsenal and Liverpool thing where these guys have
exactly. Who are they playing? Croatia are playing. They're playing Scotland on Friday, and then they're playing Portugal. So you'd allow them to go to play 2 games because they're stars.
No, Kovacic is a tough one, man. He needs to stay.
Conway, you know what should have happened this game? Professor, what should have happened this game? Every player should have done the Saka limp. Yeah. After this game, everybody should have been doing the Saka limp off the pitch to put that up in the air, whether they only play one of the 2 international games.
Man, I need them to catch COVID, man.
It's their responsibility. It's their responsibility. Haaland cannot go. Would you want Haaland to go?
I need him to get COVID as well.
No. There you are. You're only
Haaland is the most important. If he goes to Norway,
relax.
No. But if he goes to Norway, I'm gonna be shaking my boots because if Haaland goes down, God forbid that doesn't happen, we are finished. Just write the season off. If Haaland goes down, just write it off.
Yeah. Same. Let me put this comment on screen because Healthy wants to talk about bunch of flops, and then he's talking about Walker. He wants to talk about Doku. He wants to talk about Savinho. Listen, Healthy, you can have that opinion. I think that these players, in terms of what they bring, their skill sets, it's gonna all mesh. It's gonna work. Because again, Pep doesn't like to do the same thing season to season. He doesn't want controlled football 2 seasons in a row. He wants an element where he's going to keep you guessing. And I think those players like a Doku, like a Savinho, their creativity, obviously, we're never going to get like-for-like replacement talent. Mahrez was exceptional. Mahrez was the best African right-wing player we've seen until Salah's leveled up. But Mahrez was incredible for us. We're never going to replace him like that. So give it some time. I think these guys are going to be very good. Let me try to also catch up with these comments. Blue Heart goes, it's true we are too dependent on the Viking. We do have goal drought with the rest of the players, but after the waste of time international break, maybe things will start to click. I think that's a big part of it too. I think we're going to see a reinvention. Pep always does this. And so we're not saying we're relying on it as City fans, but we've grown accustomed to Pep tinkering and doing his experimentation and then having things sorted going into the holidays and coming out of it, right? So, yeah, I'm in agreement with that, Blue Heart. Beyond Belief goes, what did Barca do to Gundo? I don't know, man. But Gundo said he was so happy to be back. He said there's no place like Manchester City. So he was ready to come back. I'm glad, but the role that he's been asked to, what he's had to commit to in terms of minutes played, none of us wanted that from him. None of us wanted him to be playing like that. We wanted him to be there in spurts, not to be dependent on game after game after game. Blue Heart, I would like to see players like Foden and Savinho working closer with Erling. He looks too isolated to me. That's sometimes okay, but I feel we'd get more chances if Foden and Savinho supported him more. I hear that. I'd like to see a little more intricate play, some more give and go, some more 1-2s between themselves. I would also like to see another player carrying the ball and the runs happening, or the runs forward being a Haaland and another player. The runs forward being a Haaland and a Foden and someone else releasing that ball. I'd like to see some of that, but we'll see what Pep does. I'm confident in it. Let me ask you this. Do you think we have to spend in January, Conway? Like, do we have to?
Yeah, January is a must. We have to spend in January, and I think the club they will sign a player, depending on whether it's multiple players or not, whether it's more than one.
I think they're signing two. Coleman.
You think we're signing two players?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I think January, the thing is why clubs find it hard, especially in the past couple of years, to sign players in January, because one, you have to locate the player. Two, you have to negotiate with that said club halfway through the season or if they want to let one of their best players go, because the players that we'll be targeting are going to be the best players at those said clubs. So it's going to be interesting to see how we negotiate through this. And you're going to see someone like Hugo Viana coming in January. I think Tesiga is going to be the one that's still be handling negotiations. Chica will still be handling negotiations in terms of transfers in January. Those said conversations are going to be happening now during the international break. Pep is going to, I think now he needs to actually open up and say the squad that I have right now, even jokingly enough in the press conference last night before the Brighton game, he was talking about we have a terrible squad. I know he laughed, but sometimes when you say stuff in a jokingly manner, you might mean it. So
the problem is Conway. Let me tell you, the problem is a lot of fans are very naive. You can't go and say, I need to go and sign in January because the price starts going up. So you play, you say, I have enough. Who comes out in the summer and says, I've got enough players. I want to sign a player. I want to sign a defender. What happens? I think there's certain players available in summer. Yeah. Let me give you names. Left back, Alaba is available on free transfer. Jonathan Tah by Leverkusen free transfer. This is a free transfer. You don't need to spend money. Yeah? They can stabilize your defense. Yeah? Alaba, it's all about giving him a contract. How old is Alaba? 23?
He's in his 30s. He's in his 30s.
No, Alaba. No, Alaba. What's his name? What's the Canadian guy called?
Oh, Alphonso Davies.
Alphonso Davies. How old is Alphonso?
I think Davies is 25 now.
Yeah. Alphonso, does he improve your team? Alphonso Davies.
He does. He does, but he's more of a, in my opinion, he's more of a walker just on the left side.
Yeah.
Like he's not the most skilled, but his pace is incredible.
Yeah, it's pace galore,
Yeah, his recovery would be a tremendous, and it would just be flipping. It would be flipping what we've been doing on the right-hand side with the walker, and then having it done on the left with
that's a player that is available on a free. All you need to negotiate. Jonathan Tah is the centre back that's available. So these are just names of giving free transfer targets. Yeah?
Yeah.
Jonathan Tah is 28, but he's perfect. But it's all Madrid. Because Man United are linked with him. You should not even allow them. Because they're not going to make top 4. So he's not going to go to them.
If he goes to United, that's gonna crush his career.
Yeah.
He's 24. He's 24. Yeah, I thought.
Then you got a midfield issue that they must sign. That is the key. Someone to protect the back line. Zubimendi is number 1. Ederson is number 2. Then they have to think about in the summer about.
Don't forget about Richie as well, Hamza. The club is still.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, they might get Richie, and they will not only get Richie. Richie is not good enough by himself. You can't risk Richie when you need a must starter. You can't risk Richie. You can't risk Richie by himself.
Yeah, I agree.
So you see, Torino, he plays for Torino. Playing for Torino is different to play for Man City. Yeah?
Yeah.
So he played today and they're losing to Juventus. Bad game. He's been subbed. Richie. Is he a guy that's going to come in? He's getting by with Thuram and Locatelli. Are you going to sign him by himself? No. Zulbi, Ederson. So I think it's a midfield.
Two midfielders.
Yeah. I don't know.
Most important,
I'm worried about.
Something very important as well, which well, with all the plays that he said, yeah, we need midfield. But one of the most important, I need backup to Haaland. I need that. January, we need that.
But give me names. Give me names.
You're looking at Kyogo's one of the names that me and you have been talking about.
Yeah.
What's his name? There's one at Bayer Leverkusen. I forgot his name. Man. It will come back to me some other day, innit? But the club need to identify a player that's a number 9 who we can utilize.
Kyogo's 29 years old. He's going to be 30 in January. Kyogo's going to be 30 in January.
Yeah, but he's only going to cost us less than 15 mil. You can do that.
Yeah. Short-term fix.
Yeah, just short-term thing. We need someone right now to play when Haaland is not playing, or give Haaland some rest. Because right now, we're playing Haaland too many games.
Too many games, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was so naive for us to sign to let an attacking 30 GA. So naive. But you know why, Veto? They've won 3-4 in a row. They've been doing these risks. I can get rid of Mahrez. There's no problem. Mahrez, the guy's going to get you goals. Mahrez in this game gets you a goal. Yeah. Mahrez is dangerous. He's a shooter. Yeah? They're very skillful. They get in the box. They get you a penalty. They know how to find out the result. Yeah? The fact that they've been penny pinching. You see this penny pinching? But now you score up. Because you've played all these games. And now for the 4th season, you think those players are fit enough to still give you the same level of performance in the last 3 years? When you play them 70 games the season before, 70 games the season before, it's time to refresh. And the only best thing must happen, Pep signed a contract, and I think anyone that tells me we don't sign in January is a liar. Watch. We will sign players in January.
I'm gonna say this, and I just want to be cognizant of the time because we're closing in on an hour. And Marvin goes, "What happened to Zubi, Bruno, and a right back needed in January?" I don't think all of those. I mean, we were thinking midfields. Bruno at Newcastle, that's not happening. Zubi, who knows? Zubamendi, who knows what's going to happen there in terms of that player. At a right back, not too sure because healthy. We got a Kanji that plays out there at times. We got Stones that plays out there at times, but. And I'm going to go to the last comment. I want to say this. I prepared myself. Conway, Professor, I've prepared myself for us not signing. I've done this. I know it's early. We still got. I'm gonna bring an agent to the show. He's coming in clutch, so we're gonna make sure to give his input as well. But I've kind of reserved myself that we may not have anyone coming in the January transfer window. It's one of those where, you know what, not necessarily the club's going to choose not to risk, not to rush, and they're going to be like, look, we'll do our due diligence. We're going to get the players that are going to take us for the next 3-5 years, as opposed to maybe something that's done in it. That's how I'm feeling right now. I hope I'm wrong, because I hope they don't miss this opportunity at 5. I hope they don't miss this opportunity at securing this 5, because again, yes, Liverpool are doing their thing. They're leading the league, but they don't really look like world beaters. And Arsenal have obviously fallen off as well. And we've now given them an opportunity to not stress as much because we drop points, but it doesn't look like this is going to be a crazy high scoring points tally for the season. Let me bring the next agent. Actually, I'll wait on. Oh, he is on screen. Let me bring the next agent to the screen. I'm gonna put the other comments as well. But this agent in the mix happens to be. If you didn't see it, I gotta bring him again, and you'll know once you hear the voice if you happen to be listening and you're not on the YouTube channel. What a do, man! Thanks for being a part of the show, coming in clutch.
Big up, man. Sorry for the lateness, man, and sorry for the chat, man. Yo, man, but listen, man, I'm here, man. I'm here for as little. I said as little. It doesn't matter. As soon as I came back, I said, listen, we got a lot to discuss, man. So, man.
Yeah. Listen, yeah. I'm gonna start with this one comment from Blue Heart. He goes, I suppose we should look and see how our players are after the international break. If the squad is looking fit, we could wait till the summer, but I'd like to strengthen. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. What do you say? What do you say to that, G Certified?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those ones that the performance today, I think, yeah, man. What do you got? The performance today was, I'm speechless, really, to be honest. I think when I'm looking at and I heard what you were saying also before about Liverpool. Liverpool aren't playing that great either. You know, you were right. They're not playing that great, but they're just getting by. And I feel like with us, what it feels like right now, it just feels like I don't know what it is. I understand. Listen, I don't want to make excuses because I know about players being out. That's the thing. I didn't want us to get to the point where every game we're going to say, oh yeah, it's just because we're missing Rodri, because we're missing Diaz, because we're missing Stones. Because the goal that we conceded for the first goal, the defenders are much better than that.
Yeah.
These defenders are much better than that.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just a little bit just disappointed really with the way that it feels like nothing's going right. The only thing that's going right is the goalkeepers. I'll be honest, Edison, Ortega, those are the only two players that I feel like that are doing, they're doing their thing. So
yeah, they're consistent. They're the most consistent. I also feel like when we see a Kanji healthy, I've been happy with his performance. And for the most part, let's take away Champions League, but Gavardiol, he's been reliable. He's been very good. So I think there's just a spell of these players having these lapses. Honestly, we said this before you joined, but when we prioritize what needs to fix, it's the midfield. The midfield connection is what's hurting us because, again, it ties everything together. It gives us those opportunities in attack, and it kind of hinders and reduces the opportunities with regards to what the defense have to deal with. And I too often am watching on my screen and seeing whoever it is, Bournemouth, Southampton, Conway talked about this. I'm seeing too many running past our guys, running past Bernardo, running past Gundogan, running past Kovacic. It's the legs, and these guys either need to sniff it out better so they're better positioned, or they need to get back and know that they can't just trot back. You got to go back with some urgency. I want to put this comment on screen because Marvin goes, Do you guys really think it's about personnel and not Pep tactics? Are any of you looking at Pep and being like, Pep, you're messing up here?
It's 100% a personal thing. It's 100% because when you have 4 centre backs not available today, and we have to rely on a young defender to make his Premier League debut, and we lose to Brighton, how can you be shocked at that? I think in the first half we did so well, we played so brilliantly, we didn't take enough chances. I feel like in a game like that where you're missing 4 of your defenders, you need to go at least 2-0 up, especially against a team Brighton. But very attack. It's a personal thing, man. You can't blame Pep. If we play like this after the international break and we get our players back, then you can look at the tactics.
It's both. I think it's both. It's not the tactics as per se, but it's the personnel, the players that he's choosing. For me, I understood the Ake and Akanji not starting because obviously Ake, I heard that he might be injured. Akanji, we know Akanji, he's been picking up a few injuries recently. Yeah. But I don't know, man. This whole thing about taking off Gundogan at the time he did, and when Gundogan realistically he's going to be off for 2 weeks, and he was probably our best midfielder in that 3. I think it was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. So the things that I look at Pep, even taking off Savio again, I'm thinking, okay, maybe because of the injury risk, but again, the amount of time Savio was the only guy really in that front 3 that looked like he was creating constant threat.
That's a question I kind of have, and I often look back. I go back and watch these games a second time because the first game you're watching with emotion, you're all amped up. The second game, I'm like, okay, I'm sometimes less watching where the ball is, and I'm watching other players and where the movement is. I would have thought, you know what, we're chasing the game, keep Savinho on there, and then have a midfield that has Foden and De Bruyne. Like I would have thought that would have been something to kind of keep in terms of some threats, but. We see what happens. 4K was saying while you were speaking, he bigs up everybody in the chat. He also says we need signings in January, and I know many City fans think of that. I'm kind of reserved. I'm kind of holding back. Now I also want to point out, if you guys happen to hear anything with regards to press conference news, if you happen to hear anything with regards to quotes in the chat, please share them moving forward. I don't know if I'm going to do this as a regular show. I like to digest the game off to myself, maybe go for a walk, maybe get in a workout. I rarely get back onto YouTube after a game. But I'm glad that we were able to have the show because I wasn't able to have it on Thursday and link up with you guys. We got to show patience, guys. We got to show patience. This is CIA. We know the rivals are coming after us. We know the rivals have been waiting. They've been waiting. So now it's for them, and they're going to attack our players. They're going to attack our manager, and all I want is for us to ask, who's winning the league? When they do all they want to, when they do all of that, when they don't want to talk about how poor we are, also want to ask them, well, who's winning the league? And then let's keep those receipts. If they claim other clubs are winning the league, then we keep those receipts and we see what happens. G certified, able to be in the mix. Professor Hamza as well. Conway, always a pleasure. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for the love and support, being a part, interacting with the show. I'm not even sure where the likes are at, but the views have been pretty good. Get the likes up, please, so very much before you leave. And also in the future, share this. This show, CIA, typically is a Thursday night show. I like to do this on Thursday night, 8 o'clock. I'm able to get these guys. I'm going to play around between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. I'm going to talk with them offline, see what works out. But I like this show on Thursday. Please subscribe, like, share in the group chat. I'm gonna sign out, but I want you guys to know that most likely follow Professor Hamza, follow G Certified, follow Conway. I'm gonna make sure to put their links in the description because I'm sure they're gonna be in the convos on Twitter X. All right, we'll see what happens in this Liverpool game, but be sure to link up with these guys. Thanks for being on the show, guys. Conway, Professor, G, we out, man. Thank you so very much. All right, let me do this.